Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Nordic Sound Channel. As always, I'm your host, Jameson Foster, and today we have with us the band Aevestaden, all three members. What a treat. Just as a quick little introduction, Aevestaden I discovered this year. We were just talking about that, and Solen var bättre very quickly became one of my favorite albums of all time. But we'll talk about that. So we will get into the new album, but just first, do you guys want to introduce yourself one at a time so the listeners can put a voice to an ear? Whoever wants to go first.
My name is Eir. Eir, yeah, it's a Norwegian name, or it's a norrønt. How do you say that? Norrøna? No, nord, no. It's a word for it.
Is that the
Norse.
same place?
Norse. It's an old Norse
Norse.
name.
Okay.
Norse name. Mm-hmm.
No, cool. Yeah, your name was the most striking to me of all of them when I was looking you guys up.
And in Ævestaden, I sing and play the lyre and electronics. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Levina, how about you?
Yes, I'm the my name is Levina Storåken, and I'm the Swedish girl in this band.
There's always one.
Yeah, and I'm playing the fiddle and the kantele and the cow's horn and sing in Ævestaden.
Awesome. And then last but of course not least, Kenneth.
Yes, my name is Kenneth, and I play lyre and mouth harp, and I also sing.
Yeah, cool. Because altogether, you guys have a really fascinating timbre, the way that you guys mix together those electronics with these instruments that are more typically associated with medieval reenactment or Vardruna or something like that. And that is one of the more interesting parts of your sound to me. So welcome, guys. So great to finally talk with you. So I guess what I want to start with is actually first off, let's talk about. Do you guys have a pretty busy summer coming up with festivals? Yeah.
Yeah, quite busy.
Because I know you're playing
No.
the Folket Festival with a hell of a lineup. Frigg, Dreamers Circus, Katarina Baruch. Like, that's incredible.
And also we'll play in a festival, the same festival as Robert Plant will play.
Oh, what? That's crazy.
Yes.
Okay.
I forget that he still plays sometimes.
Yeah.
He's just going to be like the Rolling Stones. He's just going to go until he's 120 years old. I think what I would love to get started with you guys for is sort of talking about sort of where you guys come from as a band. So sort of how did Ævestaden come together at first? Because I know you guys are relatively new. So whoever I guess was there at the very beginning, do you want to sort of let us know sort of how Ævestaden sort of came to be or how you guys all met?
Yeah. We all met through school, basically. I met Levina just before I started in first grade, bachelor's degree folk music. And
me and A had already met each other then because we were in the same class and we started 1 year before.
Okay, and we were just talking about how you guys were at the same school as Gangar, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. And me and A was in the same class. And then me and Kenneth met each other in the summer. And yeah, sorry to interrupt, Kenneth.
No, in the summer when I still didn't know if I were going to be accepted or not. Well, I think I just found out that I was going to be accepted when I met Levina at Landskapleiken, which is like the actual big competition in Norwegian folk music and folk dance. It's a festival where you sit at your camping spot and drink all day and then maybe go and see some tournaments. Or, for example, go and see Hardanger Fiddle Class A. Class. See the big contenders competing for the big first place victory. But yeah,
Do you remember who was
And,
playing that year for the A class?
Oh, it's a long list.
Oh, it is. I was thinking it was like just a handful of people like in the A class, like the best of the best, but that's crazy.
To become a class player or dancer, you have to get you're going to have to become or get above a level of points.
Yeah.
But
Or
at
three.
least, sorry, at least I remember that Alexander Røynsand was the winner that year.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
In
Alexander.
Hardangerfjell, and you, Kenneth, was the winner in of mouth harp. The same
Not
year.
that year. Not that year. I was second place that year.
Oh,
Oh, I was But okay, then maybe I remember wrong about Alexander too. Then.
Yeah, you do.
Because the first year was okay. I was thinking about when it was at
Vågå.
yeah. Sorry.
So, Kenneth, so that was the year you were competing for mouth harp. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. And then so the way I guess I actually have a question about how the folk music school goes is do you guys start like do you specialize in one instrument when you go into the folk music program, or do you sort of go in to learn everything?
You have one main instrument.
Okay.
But you have to learn music from the whole country and different dances and stuff.
Yeah, so Ira, what instrument was your specialty? Because I know you play a bunch with Ævestaden, but if you had to pick one, which one was it for your program?
Singing.
You were Hardanger fiddle?
I have a bachelor's degree in Hardanger fiddle.
Okay.
And Levina has a bachelor's degree in violin or fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
And Eir has a bachelor's in singing, folk singing.
So cool. And I can hear all of that coming through in the album too. So like were you guys like was it a band and then you went to school, or did you become the band Ævestaden at the school?
We played or together with the school. We went to a festival, Åsa-festivalen.
Okay.
In Voss. And then the three of us met, or I remember it as we met in a basement in a room and talked about our feelings, and
that makes sense.
suddenly or for me it was like I hated that everyone else had a band and I didn't.
That's a hell of a way to start a band.
And also the day after we met in a kebab shop.
Okay.
And stated like, now we're a band. Yeah.
Just like that, huh? You're like, we're a band now. It's like, all right, fine.
Yeah, without even trying to play together.
So how does if you guys started like that, because I have to say that's one of the more just straightforward origin stories I've heard of a band, right? You just say, we're a band now. Okay, what do we do? So how did you guys like sort of come up with your earliest music, or how did that all just come together?
Well, we Levina,
first rehearsals didn't really. We don't really play what we the first things we came up with. It was it took some rehearsals to find out what was our thing, but when we first found it, it was very like obvious that this is us. This is what we continue.
Yeah. That we all loved sad music, for example. And in the beginning, actually, Levina had this suggestion that we tried out, that we the text
super weird. I'm
ingredients in in like what's inside milk. Then we would sing the yeah, what's it
The
called?
ingredient
Not
list.
but yeah, the list.
And of shampoo and
Yeah. I think it was cool. We had some cool songs, but we never played them live, I think.
So I'm understanding correctly that that's how you guys came up with your lyrics at first?
Yeah.
No, that's honestly that's great, because that sort of removes the whole first step of, well, who's going to write the lyrics, which can sometimes be the hardest part to come up with, right? Because that's very personal. So that's really funny to me, and actually that sort of tells me a lot about how comfortable you guys are with each other. Like your first lyrics were just reading the ingredients in a shampoo bottle or a milk. That's great. I would actually love to hear those deep cuts if you have any recordings.
Oh, I hope we have.
I mean,
I remember
like
one song.
segue into starting to, yeah, just have something to start off with.
Yeah, because that's the most important thing, just having anything to work with, right?
Yeah, and the first rehearsal we ever had, I played the L guitar.
Oh yeah.
And we tried some bowed lyre recordings for like rehearsals, and yeah, but it didn't take too long before we found out that we just had to make it simple and do some repetitive patterns and just try to sing on top of it.
That makes sense.
And one the first song that we made that we were actually performing with was Slip No, which isn't on any recording, but it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Still, I think.
SoundCloud.
And yeah,
Demo
SoundCloud, and we there on that one. Both me and Kenneth is playing Lange Lake, and when we had that one song and we had recorded it, we started to apply to play, try to write to festivals, and then we got our first gig in Sweden at Bingsjöstämman, which is I don't know if you have heard about it. It's a
what is the name of it?
Bingsjöstämman. It's Bingsjöstämman.
Okay, I know Bingsjö because I play some of the music from there. But
yeah, it's a very big festival where it was super huge in the 70s. And then we just we got an email that we could play there where like in the summer, and it was not long time until the festival was. So then, and we got we had this one song, and then they said that we could play for half an hour. So then we had to make new songs super fast.
That is such a great way to start. Like, so everything that you guys are talking to me about, I'm just like seeing how everything's falling into place. You wasted no time with just like experimenting with anything, right? You're reading lyrics off of shampoo bottles, and then you submit yourself to a festival with only one song. And so you have to force yourselves, like, holy shit, we've got to come up with 30 minutes of music. But like, you guys are like, everything's falling into place and like making a lot of sense to me right now about just sort of like how quickly things came together for you guys.
Yeah.
So at that
so
first,
then came Stanna Inte.
Yep.
Stanna Inte, the song came quickly after, maybe, or
it was for Bingsjö.
Made a song for Bingsjö. There we have a deep cut actually, where we play different instruments and in a different key, and yeah, it's quite crazy to listen back to now. Totally different song.
That's always weird listening to your old stuff. Like sometimes I can't listen to my old stuff. I'm like, yeah, get that out of my ears. I don't want to hear it. But for your guys, so I already mentioned like what really fascinates me about your guys' whole sound palette is the combination of like, you know, new sounds like electronica with not just traditional, but like these really old instruments. And so like for your very first rehearsal, did you guys already come with like these bags full of all of these instruments to play together, or did you sort of like slowly add new ideas over time?
Well, my background is that I was so lucky that in my high school years, I found this group of people at Gjøvik,
Okay.
which is a town in Norway, that had like a weekly course in making old folk instruments.
Okay.
Started off making this langleik, which you can see right here.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And this is actually a copy of the oldest langleik.
Oh yeah,
from the 1500s.
Talk about deep cuts.
Yeah. And eventually I made a lyre as well. And I thought that the lyre has to be like, you have to do something with that instrument. Something that's kind of use it like you would use a guitar, but then do something different with it. And I guess that was my way into wanting to create a band with and Levina, that I wanted to do something with the old instruments. And Levina was is a really proficient and good player on the cow's horn. She's an expert on the cow's horn, and that's how I met Levina the first time. Actually, she was at a party
before the summer, even.
Yeah, at a nachspiel, or like an after party.
Okay.
Played the cow's horn out of the window down into the street late at night, and I was standing there and observing and just oh my god, who is this girl? And then
start to hear choir music and
yeah, basically. And then I don't really know how to go through the chronology of it. It's so many years ago now.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's funny. Like, did you think, because if I were to be walking down a street at night and all of a sudden I just heard a cow's horn being played beautifully, I would think I was dead, right?
Yeah.
That I had like died and I was just sort of wandering around, and that's just what the afterlife is. So I can imagine that leaving an impression on you, especially because Levina, you know, I've heard you play. You know, that second track on Solen bättre, that's you playing that, yeah?
Yes.
No, it's gorgeous every time. You know, I've got the vinyl back here. I was just listening to it to get it fresh in my ears, and that track is like, it's a very daring track to put like as number 2 on a record. It's just a bukkehorn solo, but it works beautifully. So
but
then,
yeah, and
oh no, Kenneth, you go.
I was already quite proficient in Ableton Live and doing like synth stuff and MIDI keyboard and all that, and just after a while became natural to include that as well. It's really just a coincidence.
Okay, Ira's shaking her head.
You don't agree, eh?
Yeah, she doesn't seem to think she was proficient.
At first,
she was better than us.
But first, I sang, and we had this course in school with Ableton, and I hated it. I didn't understand anything. I was super lost, so I didn't use it for.
We hated it together.
Yeah, I remember. But you were so much better than me in the class, I remember. I didn't understand how to map anything. I was like, what the fuck is mapping?
Yeah, that's weird to think about, that we schedule the time that like where I could show you how to map, and now I'm super lost and you're super good at it.
Okay. So Ira, I gotta get this straight. Okay, so you hate, or at least hated, Ableton. And
yeah,
so
but I love it now.
you love it now. So you learn to love it, but like at first, did they sort of tell you like you're going to do Ableton, and you were like, "Fuck that, I'm not doing that," right? Or did
Yeah, I just I didn't understand anything in that course.
Mhm.
But later on, everyone in school they used electronics live. So I was yeah, I was a bit jealous, I think. So I started to use it myself. And also I tried to play in a band and it didn't work out, so I decided to play solo for a while. So then I had to learn Ableton. So, and that was uh, on the side of Ævestaden, kind of, yeah.
Mhm.
So, mm, and then later on, I used it with Ævestaden, and but in the start, it was only like some reverb on the vocals, maybe.
You gotta
Some
start
drones.
somewhere.
Yeah, drones. So I think I'm a bit better now, yes.
I would say. So, Kenneth, I wanted to follow up with something. So if I'm understanding correctly, you fell into the medieval instrument uh thing from learning how to make them first, or were you already listening to it? Because where I'm going with this question is almost I will actually say, except for you, everyone that I've had on this channel, when they pick up a lyre, when they pick up a cantella, when they pick up a longalike, it's typically because they listen to something like Vardruna, and they're like, I want to play the Kraviklir. But it seems like it just comes from an entirely different origin. Am I correct? No?
No, not at all. I found out about Vardruna before they had released their first album through being a huge Gorgoroth fan.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I
Hell yeah,
already
dude.
knew about Einar Selvik like as a drummer in Gorgoroth, and
Yep.
suddenly I stumbled across his MySpace channel, which is
You're going back.
yeah, and seeing him standing there with the lyre and frame drums and all that. And I think the first track he put out on MySpace was Ar var Alda, which is a really like ambient drone type of track.
Yep.
And that was what piqued my interest or made me like. It happened simultaneously as I was invited to attend that course by a friend who had been there when he was a child, actually.
It all works. It all just comes together.
Yeah.
But you're also inspired by like something like African dance music. I don't know from where, but
yeah, my playing style on the lyre now is really inspired by music from Mali and African folk music. But but yeah, I got into old folk instruments through both Vardruna and getting to attend that course the same time, or like those evenings with building instruments.
That is so
happened
cool.
quite at the same time, and then
Yeah.
ended up building a lot of different instruments, and then listening to Vardruna coming out with their debut album, and just realizing that I was on the right path.
Yeah. So so West African music, huh? So I don't know if you know this. Literally this semester, my job here at CU was to help teach West African drumming. So like that's a hell of a coincidence. We just had our concert like a couple weeks ago. We were doing both high life, so like the newer stuff with like the jazz fusion and all that, but then we also did like a traditional dance with drum patterns. So it's really interesting that of all of the places in the world, you bring up West Africa right now.
Yeah, but we have people like Anders Røyne from Sudan Duda. He has been like a trailblazer when it comes to incorporating West African influences into the Norwegian folk music scene, with his guitar playing and mathar playing. And he also has this really nice perspective on it when it comes to the accentuations, or like the fiddle bow, the way it plays syncopations and polyrhythms and stuff is extremely similar to the West African way of syncopating their folk music.
So Kenneth, that's really cool to hear where you come from musically. So Levina, you both brought up listening to a lot of sad music. And so I would love to hear more about what kind of sad music you're talking about, because I would love to hear like sort of what your guys' like inspiration is.
The sad music comes from all these archive recordings with like from the 1850s.
Okay.
Like, you know, when your heart is broke.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say that? When you're sad about love, it helps to like read a book where someone have been writing about the same experience. But it's I think it's helped even more to find these super old songs where someone with these lyrics about how much it hurts, and also the like how do you say it, like pathetic, can you say that?
Yep.
Thing about it, how you can be like, oh, but if I die, then you will
regret
that you didn't
But do you listen to old Appalachian music by any chance? Like old Appalachian ballads from like the same, so like old time American music that gets depressing as hell. Like like traditional American music from the 1800s. That's like, you rejected me, so I'm throwing your dead body in a river. Or like it's just the most tragic stuff. So at least when you say like 1850s depressing music, I'm thinking of like Appalachian murder ballads and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And so when I was like 16 and unlucky in love, I just started to listen a lot to that kind of songs. And then I met Ada, and she also liked the sad songs. And then
skillingsviser.
Okay.
You could buy one sheet of or maybe it was only lyrics for crowner.
Okay.
Like it was back in the day when you bought a sheet with a song. Yeah. We have a lot of that in Norway as well.
Awesome.
A lot of sad ballads and songs about death and getting executed. And
because it's funny, because when you guys mention sad music, you know, my students, when they say sad music, I'm thinking of Billie Eilish or something like that. And so when you say like, oh, I listen to sad music, I'm expecting it to go down that road, and you're like, no, 1850s folk songs. That's
yeah,
so
but
funny.
that's I think like Billie Eilish is the same thing. It's just that it helps me like extra when I can think about that. It's extra comforting when I can think about that people have been feeling like this since ever.
Yeah.
Forever.
So dare I ask that translates into how you guys approached writing Solen var bättre där?
Absolutely.
Maybe that desire to like comfort with like what would be the what would the easiest way in English to say that? More like we talk in music all the time about how one of the roles of music that is often not talked about enough is its role in helping people feel understood. We talk about catharsis, which is a kind of understood, but like the reason you listen to sad songs when you're sad is because in some ways music can speak to you deeper than like just than like reading a book. And so when you're telling me that that's what draws you to the music, I am going to tell you guys right now, if I can just I'm going to be a responsible journalist and put my biases on the table. This album is one of my favorite albums of all time, right? Like the first time I listened to it, all the way through to the end, it's just stunning, right? It's like very rarely do you find an album that is both original and beautiful. Like nowadays, if you want to be original, you got to be fucking weird, right? Like beauty and originality do not often overlap anymore, just because so much has been done. And so you guys all should really be proud of yourselves with this album, right? And so that's why I really want to get into sort of like the headspace or the mentality or the mindset that was behind writing this, because it reaches into my soul and it just stays there. And it just, my wife, when we played it, she was like, I need more therapy to listen to this, like she, right? But it's stunning. Like the whole album, there isn't any dead space, but particularly Motorboat into Fela into Blomsterbed is just like a stunning run of 3 songs. So I would love to hear, maybe Levina, if you want to talk first, or you can hand it off to anyone else who might have something else to say. How do you approach sort of like making someone feel understood about, you know, their sadness, their melancholy is the English word for it, through your music, right?
How I approach. No, for me, like Motorboat, the song. It was one of the first songs I wrote with the kantele when I was on exchange in Finland, and it was there I picked up the kantele, and it has always been a struggle for me to make songs and to play while I'm singing. I have tried to learn guitar and piano, and I have also tried to play the fiddle while I'm singing, and it works. But I hadn't had like a kick really, like. But when I got the kantele and I was sitting with it like just next to my body, like this, something happened, and it was the first time it like felt like the song just came by itself, even though I was a super beginner on kantele and couldn't, like, also it was the same with flytta. I wrote flytta and motorbåt at the same time, and I could only like play some chords. It was so I was playing these super easy things, and then I was also super unlucky in love with someone at the same time, and then it just happened. So it was.
That's a beautiful recipe.
An answer?
You're both new at an instrument and you're heartbroken. That's usually how the best songs are made, right? Because it is.
And I was like sitting in my bed. I think that's also.
I can feel it. I can feel that in the music, and I'm not exaggerating, right? Like, you wrote Motorboat, like, holy shit, dude, nice job. Like, when I first heard that song, I stopped in my tracks, right? Like, whenever I listen to an album for the first time, I go for a walk. I put the headphones in, and sometimes a song hits you and you just stop walking. That was me. I was just like, holy shit, this is stunning. And so that makes a lot of sense what you tell me about how the song came to be, right? Like, I can actually hear you sitting in your bed, just sort of like hunched over a cantala. It's just like, it's beautiful. So do you guys typically share like, does it usually work that way where every track is sort of like written originally by one person and then you all come together to work on it?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
It varies, but mostly. That's good part about having instruments with a lot of limitations. Also, because if we have a key established and a vocal melody, then if our lyres are tuned to that key in a scale that fits, then everything comes pretty naturally, really fast. So we make the songs really fast, all the different arrangements and stuff. just comes to us, because you can just pluck on the strings and all the different tones matches up with the key and the scale.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, it doesn't really take that much time to make a song.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up, because I mean, like, this is a recurring thing that comes up when talking to musicians, right? Is just the importance of limiting yourself, right? Like, we are in a time where if you are a musician, you can get Ableton, you can get Logic, you can get whatever you want, and all of a sudden you have a whole world of possibilities at your fingertips, and people usually just make shit with it because there's nothing limiting you at all. And I play the banjo back there, and the reason I play banjo is because of the limitation. I tune it into one key, and because I majored in music, I was taught too much stuff that I don't want to use, and so I have a hard time limiting myself. And so the banjo like saved me in that way. And so Kenneth, thank you so much for bringing that up, because so many young up and coming musicians don't learn that lesson of how important it is to sort of like, limitations are important for creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So every voice, like instrumental voice, is pretty simple, but then combines into a patchwork of polyrhythmical drone-based like chords just flowing in and out of different polyrhythms and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's our recipe.
Yeah, Levina?
Yeah, I just I was a bit insecure in the start if motorboat would fit Ævestaden, because it was not about it was about a motorboat, and we are a folk music band. It wasn't about like running through the woods as Stanna inte was. So Aiden Kenneth had to convince me that we could play a song with more modern lyrics. And I remember the rehearsal when we tried motorboat together, and like Kenneth was starting to make this lyre thing in like double tempo of what I was playing, and he came up with this synth part, and then I just, yes, of course we can. Of course, this is a Ævestaden tune too, and now we have a lot of songs with more modern lyrics.
So, Ire, what did you write? Did you write any of the songs on the album, or were you too busy like getting angry with Ableton?
Yes, I was too angry. Yeah. Yeah, we actually wrote the same amount of songs, kind of.
2 songs each.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wrote Blomsterbed and Dråper.
Blomsterbed's my favorite one.
Nice.
Yep.
I actually wrote it on football field. And the lyrics was about it was a Christmas song about what's the princess? Oh my God. Tre nøtter til Askepott, Cinderella.
Okay.
It was about Cinderella not getting into the ball. So yeah, that's how it started.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can you sing that version now?
Yeah. Oh. Askepott, gå inn og se, la henne være med, eller something.
I need you to know that is the song where, like, so I had the record on back here. My wife and I were listening to it together, and I left the room for a minute while this song came on, and I came back in, and my wife was just laying down on the floor just staring at the ceiling. And I was like, "What?" And she was just like, "This is fucking beautiful." And like she was just on the floor, like just completely absorbing it. She was almost like the meme of the guy just like laying down on the floor with the tears streaming down his face. So that's definitely a standout track in this house. It's very much loved.
Nice. And
Yeah.
actually, the chorus was the same, or is still the same as the soccer field version.
Yeah.
But then I
tapes.
struggled a bit. I struggled a bit with the writing more, lyrics. So we sat together in the grass. Wrote some more.
You touched some grass.
Touched some grass, and maybe we touched some people after.
Yeah, I guess you did. So Kenneth, what songs did you write?
Fela and Evig gjenkomst.
All right, cool.
Those two, I can talk about Fela first. It was inspired by Greek tragedy.
Okay.
I think is it Electra? I think it was Electra or Medea.
I'm not well versed in Greek tragedy at all, so you could be completely bullshitting me right now, and I will just go with it.
Well, it starts off with like kind of a complaint that, oh my god, if they didn't cut down those trees to make those boats, no, this bullshit would ever have happened. And that's the main theme of Fela. If they didn't cut down that tree and they didn't make that fiddle, or if they didn't make that bow, my life wouldn't be so sad. It's like a tragic, telling of how you were seduced by a musician, basically.
Okay.
And then Evig gjenkomst, that's the eternal recurrence. That's a concept from Nietzsche.
From Nietzsche, yeah.
That's what that song is about. Life affirming all the way. Could you ever accept the idea of living your life on repeat? Do you yearn for an afterlife? Or do you just accept life as it comes to and say yes to eternal repeats of that same life?
Damn, dude, that got heavy.
The point is that the lyrics bites itself in the tail.
Oh, cool! I didn't notice that. That's awesome.
Now you have to listen once more.
Yeah, I just got to listen to it even more, right? My neighbors are like, again? No, so I mean, like,
all our songs, especially on this album, is about yearning somehow for something, longing for something.
Thank you for being the segue into my next question, which is what is the unifying sort of theme of the album? Because Kenneth, sorry to interrupt, but like, you know, that title of the album, my understanding, like the English translation would just be "the sun is better there," or "it was better there." Yeah. And so like, even just from in my very limited understanding of the Norwegian language, right? Like I was able to at least understand. Oh, Swedish. Yeah. Sorry. See, there we go. I was able to at least look at that. The thing is, as soon as I said Norwegian, I was like, no, it's not, you dumb fuck. And so when I read that album, I was immediately like, okay, that's a very evocative title. And immediately the title of the album itself made me nostalgic, right? The sun was better there. So Kenneth, now that I've successfully interrupted, I would love for you to talk a little bit more about this whole concept of yearning.
Yeah, it's about finding some sort of escape. I guess that's a huge part of our era or our times. Feeling like we're on in a kind of a downward spiral.
Just a little bit. little bit.
Yeah. Everything
And
going down.
the pain and the painting, the cover art is the place we're longing for.
I love it. I love the cover art so much.
Painted by Kenneth.
I noticed that. Yeah, you're sort of a Renaissance man.
Well, I dabble.
Yeah. So, yeah, either Levina or Ire. I mean, like, do you guys want to chime in with, because this would be an awesome way to sort of like round off the conversation about the album, is sort of like, we're all roughly the same age. I'm not as old as I look just because I'm bald and I have a beard. So I'm only in my 20s.
How old are you?
I'm only in my 20s. So I'm not that old.
But
So
how
we're all
old?
28.
How old? Okay.
Yeah. So we're roughly in the same age group. Yeah. And
But
so
Kenneth is old.
I had a feeling Kenneth was older than me.
I'm 32.
Yep. You have a 32 vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say that because my wife is 32. So it's just, you're giving off the same energy. I'm not coming on to you, don't worry.
The best batch, 91.
Yep. So the reason I bring that up is because, I'm assuming we're all on the same page here. Things kind of suck, right? And it doesn't seem like they're getting any better. At least from my perspective.
When I'm 60, I think I will have the best time in my life. Or 50, maybe 60, yeah.
Just riding off into the sunset, just...
Yeah.
I'm always repeating what Carl Gustav Jung said. Life begins at 40. Everything before is just research. So we're hoping.
It makes me feel better. So yeah, so that was definitely the overarching like theme and attitude of the album, is sort of like this escapism, wanting to just like find your happy place amidst all the chaos and anxiety.
Yeah.
And actually the title of the first album is quite similar.
Ingen mera gråta, yeah?
Yeah. That could also describe kind of the same place.
Mm-hmm.
But that's from a traditional song. That
it's like no one is crying anymore.
Yeah. You guys are evocative.
Written by a very young boy on his deathbed.
Jesus Christ. You guys go dark. This is insane to me. So
yeah, it's from the track with the mouth harp in 11/8 time beats and
you dork.
Yeah, I can be a bit dorky sometimes.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, when you have a long measure, like 11/8, like 11 half notes, like you have a lot of space, and then if you sing like a 3 measure like psalm on top of that, it fits quite well, I think.
Yeah.
So we have more of that coming, actually.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, I guess like I wanted to ask you, what do you guys got cooking up, if anything? I don't want not pressuring you to spoil anything. But I've
coming.
What?
Yeah, a lot.
We have a
awesome.
lot.
Big things happening.
It's not so long. You don't have to wait too long.
Major announcement on the way.
Dude, hell yeah. So I won't pressure you here, but I will definitely be looking forward to seeing that.
Do you like rock?
Do I like rock? Yeah. I mean, you guys know Mio, yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Our release concert on the first album was together, split the stage with them, actually.
Oh yeah, this is so funny to me. So like, first off, Ire, to answer your question, yeah, I mean like Mio, their latest album, I would classify firmly as rock. not like maybe progressive rock, folk rock. And that was, yeah, another stellar album. Because I don't know what I said this in my year end video of my favorite albums of 2023. I don't know what the fuck is in the water over there in Norway, but like you young up and coming bands, right? Like between you, Gangar, and Mio, and there are probably more that I haven't even stumbled across yet because I'm all the way over here, right? But like just between those three bands, you guys formed this triangle of just like crazy shit. It's like so cool to me to see what you guys are up to over there.
Nice.
But yeah, the next album
we can tell. Yeah, tell him.
Going to be
tell me.
No, it's not Kenneth. It's actually not the next one because we will release one album like now in May too. It's also an album with even more remixes.
Okay.
Have you heard any of the remixes?
Yeah, the one you guys just did.
Yeah, and now we have 3 more, and we will release them all as an album 3rd of May.
Okay,
and then
awesome.
And then in October, there's going to be full-on rock and roll. It's a collaboration project with Kanan, which is the psychedelic rock band that Eir's brother plays in.
Okay.
And we recorded a full-length album December 2002.
Okay.
No, 2, not 2.
2002.
22. I assume it's 22.
Wow.
Yeah. 2000.
I was like, damn, you guys go way farther back than you told me, you liars.
Too much hard seltzer.
You're not 32.
But yeah, it's going to be a hard-hitting rock and roll album.
Dude, hell yeah.
And I think the first single will be released in May too.
June, I think.
In June. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's quite soon.
It's going to be a medieval ballad with shuffle groove.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You Norwegians are just like off your fucking rocker. You were just like coming up with all this weird shit, and I love it. I love it. It's so much fun. So
we
guys,
have even more things recorded that we will release later.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have that youthful energy. You guys aren't just gonna hang around and just like wait. You just want to do stuff.
Yeah, we have so many songs that we haven't had time to record because there's so many songs that is gonna be released.
That's a good thing.
We love collaboration, so we have so many collaboration plans.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's the way to do it nowadays. Just collaborate with as many people as you can. It keeps things fresh. Yeah.
And also, do you have any plans to come to like Norway? And
I'm in Norway every August.
Oh.
Yep. I go to the Midgardsblot festival at the Borahagana every year. It's my favorite, and I honestly think that you guys would be perfect at that festival too.
We have played
there.
You guys played what year did you guys play Midgardsblot?
Was it 3 years ago or something? 2?
Yeah, the summer 22.
Were you there?
What?
In 2022, you guys were at Midgardsblot.
Yeah, we played.
I was there.
We played
very early, like 5. Yeah, super early.
Oh,
right after the fight.
Yes.
Viking fight.
So the horse blood.
The horse, yeah.
So it makes sense. I was actually working. So those early bands in the middle of the day, I had to miss because I was doing sound in the museum for the interviews and stuff like that. So now I'm even more bitter that I had to miss that. But now it's even funnier because I have the shirt for that year that has all the bands on the back, And now I'm sitting here like, how did I never fucking notice that Ævestaden is on the back of that shirt? Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I want one too.
I didn't know.
Can we buy one?
You guys, so I have to, yeah, I have one. I have to tell you guys, and this is just, I'm saying this in complete good humor. I have never felt as dumb as I have in this interview. Like the first time when I was like, oh, the Norwegian phrase, Solen var bättre da. And now, like, knowing that you guys were at Midgardsblot and I was there and I didn't even notice, I'm sitting here like, fine. Like,
I think I feel dumber because it was way too long since I tried to speak English. And I just
no, you did. No, you guys do great. I'm not going to sit here and be like, excuse me, that wasn't the right phrase. Like, no, I'm happy for you guys to be here.
But do you think, like, I noticed that all the three of us are talking way slower than you? Do you, is that a thing that you?
I try. I try to talk slower. I'm putting a lot of effort. I know. I'm putting a lot of effort into trying to slow down. It's something that I've learned over time when I'm talking to people who, English isn't their first language. Because it's easier, but sometimes I get excited and then I talk faster.
But do you think, is it a thing that Scandinavians speak slow or
especially Norwegians?
Oh,
we have the way that I've heard it put is that Norwegians talk the way they ski. So you go down and then you go up.
You ski
go down and then you go up. You go down and then you go up. And I love it. I love the cadence. I love the cadence of Norwegians speaking English. I love it.
But we're so fast in skiing, so it's weird that we speak so slow.
You're on the bunny slope. That's what we call it in English, the kid slope. But thank you guys for doing an interview in English. I know it's not the easiest, but I really appreciate it because what I'm trying to do here is like when I was a kid getting super into Nordic music for whatever reason, I don't even remember why. I'm just here now. There was nothing really for me to do. So I'm sort of like trying to make it so that Americans in particular or English speaking people can sort of like have a place to go to learn about Nordic musicians. And so that's why I really appreciate you guys doing an interview in English because I don't have to tell you, if this interview was in Norwegian, I would have just died of a heart attack 45 minutes ago. So I appreciate you guys doing this. Seriously.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to having you guys back. Hopefully, if this wasn't too awful of an experience, for whenever you guys put out that new music, new album, I'd love to have you guys back. All right.
Yeah, we would love to.
That would be nice.
Awesome. And are you guys based in Oslo or are you more in the Bergen area? Where are you? Where are you guys?
Oslo.
So maybe I'll let you guys know when I'm in Oslo because that's where I fly into, and I'm usually there for a day before I get on the train and go to. So yeah, maybe I'll hit you guys up. We can grab a beer or something.
Yes.
Let us know.
Yeah. I love beer.
Yeah, me too. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's fine. All right, but guys, again, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Please don't be a stranger, and thank you guys so much for the wonderful music. All right.
And say hi to your wife.
Oh yeah, she's in Florida right now, so she's in the heart of America. She's a Florida girl. You know that meme? So she's just you guys don't have the Florida man meme?
Yeah, the Florida man.
Yeah, so she's Florida girl, but it's funny because she's not at all like that. She's very sweet and quiet. And so whenever I call her Florida man, she's like, get the fuck out of here.
She's not
deranged. You have to show us.
I mean, I'm hoping for her to come sometime to Norway, but the plane tickets are pretty expensive. So for two people,
yeah.
So guys, I've kept you on here long enough, and I know it's pretty late for you guys now. Like almost, it's probably like 10 o'clock up there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, 10:03.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, so guys, again, I really appreciate you guys coming on here because I don't get it. I get a lot of dark folk musicians on this podcast. I don't get nearly enough of other types of musicians, and I would very much love to. And this has been a really fun conversation for me to get to talk about something else and to actually hear from you guys about, again, as I said, something familiar with the old instruments, but in like an entirely new, almost uncanny valley sort of setting where like it looks familiar, but it's not. And that's just, I think that's something really cool that you guys are up to. And I really can't wait to hear this psychedelic rock thing that you guys have cooking up for us. So I guess before I let you guys go, if people want to find you, follow you, support you, where can they do so?
Instagram is
you should have like something that pops down when we say like follow on Instagram.
All right, yeah, and I put it in the description too. Yeah.
Yeah, you can check in our Instagram. We have this link tree with all our sites, homepage, upcoming gigs, and YouTube channel, everything.
Awesome.
Yeah. Check out our music video on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And we post a lot of weird stuff.
I would expect nothing else from you guys. That's what I'm here for.